1999 MAAC Coach of the Year Joe Mihalik leads Niagara into the semifinal round. The top-seeded Purple Eagles face St. Peter's today for the right to go to the title game. Point guard Jeremiah Johnson is winding down his college career with a flourish, while his backcourt partner Alvin Young leads the nation in scoring at 25 points per game. Roger Blind's Peacocks have a stacked backcourt as well. Jamar Hunter playing through a wrist injury. He had 27 yesterday against Canisius, while Ricky Bellinger, St. Peter's leading scorer, dropped in 17 in the quarterfinals. And the Purple Eagles, remember Bellinger, he had his career-high 32 against them last season. The MAAC semifinals are underway. Top seed Niagara versus number 5 seed St. Peter's coming up next. From the Marine Midland Arena in Buffalo, New York, it's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference semifinals. Our first game here this afternoon in Western New York, the 5th seed St. Peter's Peacocks against the number 1 seed, the Purple Eagles from Niagara. And welcome everybody to Buffalo. Glad you could join us. Doug Sherman along with Glenn Consor. And what a wild day we had yesterday and last night in the quarterfinal round as we take a look at the brackets. 2 close games and a couple of barn burners right down to the wire, and Niagara got through. Great game against Loyola.
Well, this is like the Survivor Series. Which of the top seeds were not going to make it? Niagara survived. Siena survived. Everybody was talking about Iona. They get bumped by Marist.
Okay, now the Peacocks, as I mentioned, have a great backcourt. Jamar Hunter coming off of the wrist injury, still playing well. He had an ice pack during warm-ups about an hour ago, but he's ready to go.
He had a great floor game, 27 points. How about this? 25 in the second half. He got in the lane, he made jump shots. Ricky Bellinger, his backcourt partner, is going to have a great game in transition today.
Meanwhile, the 1999 MAAC Player of the Year, Alvin Young, is a treat to watch. He's capable of putting up big points, the leading scorer in the nation.
Yeah, he's the leading scorer in the nation, but he got cut 4 years, every year in high school. He's a great scorer. He's great in transition, and he's terrific when he breaks you down in a half-court offense. He's one of the go-to guys and the best go-to guys in the nation.
Okay, let's break down the matchup. First for the Peacocks, what are their keys to winning this ball game?
Well, the first thing they have to do is take care of the basketball. Don't fall into the traps of turning it over early this game. But their biggest strength is hitting the offensive boards. They're the leading rebounding team in the MAAC Conference. And from Niagara's standpoint, they got to get the pressure on, get some easy baskets in transition, and really be patient when they have to in executing a half-court offense.
Okay, let's introduce the third member of our broadcast team here this afternoon in Buffalo. We send it over to Howard Simon.
Don't forget the bench play. That could be key as well. Green, Dobrich, Bernowski, and Strobel for Niagara, all good down the stretch, and had some a big game yesterday. A couple of them, Green and Strobel did. For St. Peter's, Brown and Spencer, maybe defensively more than offensively. Rogers had a huge game off the bench, double-digit scoring, guys, in the win over Niagara at St. Peter's. Back to you.
All right, Howard, the MAAC semifinals are here. We've got St. Peter's against Niagara. Starting lineups are next on the MAAC Television Network. This game is brought to you in part by Marine Midland Bank for all your financial needs. The Pepsi-Cola Company. GMAC, the GM College Grad Program, and your local Pontiac dealers. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. Bob Stores, great buys on brands you wear. The New York Lottery Games, hey, you never know. Chase Manhattan Bank, the right relationship is everything. Mazda, get in, be moved. And by Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. We're back in Buffalo. That's the Jumbotron here at the Marine Midland Arena. Up atop the hardwood where we'll be having MAAC semifinal action. And we begin with the starting lineups for the St. Peter's Peacocks. Roger Blind, the head coach of the 13 and 14 club. They're the number 5 seed coming in. The lineup's brought to you by GMAC. A 3-guard lineup to begin with. Khalif Allen at 6'1", capable of knocking down the big shot. Jake Holmes and Kamal McQueen inside. Meanwhile, on the flip side, for the Purple Eagles, Jeremiah Johnson, Alvin Young, Mike Pawerka, Terry Edwards, Danny Amponsa, your starting 5.
Well, it's going to be some interesting matchups here. Expect to see Khalif Allen start with the assignment on Alvin Young. And that's going to be some tough matchups in there as well for Niagara, because Jamar Hunter with the 3-guard offense of St. Peter's between Khalif Allen, Jamar Hunter, and of course Ricky Bellinger, they can cause some problems for Niagara, and also they're capable of attacking Joe Mihalik's full court pressure.
Joe Mahalik, the MAAC Coach of the Year. Jake Holmes and Terry Edwards will tip it up. The Peacocks in their traveling marine blue, and the Purple Eagles as the top seed in their gray and purple uniforms, and they will re-jump it. St. Peter's wins the tip. And Khalif Allen guarded by Johnson. Niagara comes out in a man-to-man. Ricky Bellinger doing a little work near midcourt to save the ball. He's guarded by Danny Amponcha, starter for the Purple Eagles, who does not get a lot of minutes. Comes out and works hard, plays defense. And here comes Jeremiah Johnson back the other way after the turnover.
Now, Doug, defensively, one thing that Niagara does very well is they take you out of your cuts. They will bump you and not let you cut. And that's one of the things that they're going to try to do against St. Peter's, not let them run their stuff.
Terry Edwards passes it back to Glenn Consor out of bounds. It'll be Niagara basketball on the sideline. Just underway, 40 seconds gone, no score.
Niagara likes to run offenses where they like to get the ball into Alvin Young's hands as he comes off of screens on baseline.
Edwards guarded by McQueen. Back out to Pawerka. Shot clock winding down, as you see in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Not sure Niagara realizes. They don't, and they don't get the shot off. I don't think there was a single person on the court who knew it.
Nobody looked up at the shot clock after the shot clock stopped with about 8-9 seconds left. And that's Jeremiah Johnson's responsibility as the point guard to notice those things and make sure it happens.
And a three-quarter court pressure by Johnson and Young.
Niagara's going to, you can expect Niagara to change their defenses quite a bit. They'll go man, they'll go 2-3 zone. St. Peter's has struggled quite often against the zone. And one of the things they can do is that they can pound it down inside to Kamal McQueen, 6'6", 275, and Jake Holmes, 6'11", 270 as well. Those are two big forces on the blocks for Roger Blinn. There's Kamal.
Listed at about 6'5", 270. But he is able to move. Got a big knee brace, bulky knee brace. He's had an ankle injury, a knee injury, but still nonetheless has some good post moves. Bellinger missed the shot off the inbound, and a rebounding foul against Niagara. And it goes against Amponcha.
Niagara still in the 2-3 zone. Expect to see guys like Kamal McQueen and Jake Holmes try to post up quickly. Look for some quick hits inside.
Hunter off the pass from Bellinger. We're still scoreless. Johnson with the lefty pass up to Amponcha. Drop it off, and the layup is good. Alvin Young at 25 points per game has the first points of our MAAC semifinals here in Buffalo.
And here comes the full court pressure. It's a 2-2-1 full court press, and they will try to trap on the sidelines.
Just over 2 minutes gone. Niagara against St. Peter's. The Purple Eagles, this is not their home floor, but they have played home games here. Niagara Falls just about 25 minutes up the road to the north. Foul against Alvin Young.
One of the things Joe Mahalik told me before this game is that Alvin Young and Jeremiah Johnson, when they play zone, are going to try to do a good job of putting pressure on the guards out top and force the guards from St. Peter's, whoever it is out top, Allen, Hunter, or Bellinger, to try to take him off the bounce, and then they're going to try to get some help from the big guys inside.
Hunter guarded by Young. Khalif Allen, shovel pass, nice catch by McQueen. He'll go to the line for two. Second foul against Amponcha.
I think the X factor of this game is going to be McQueen getting offensive rebounds, and that's one of the areas that Joe Mahalik was very concerned about, is getting the ball and keeping the big guys away from the basketball. Nice penetration pass that time by Hunter. He has had a terrific tournament so far. in the way of his leadership, his poise, his ability to take guys off the bounce, and he shot the ball really well yesterday.
Kamal McQueen made the first. Sophomore out of Queens. I know somebody else close by from Queens. Mr. Consor.
Sounds familiar. From the hood.
2-1. Purple Eagles on top. 17:22 to go in the first half.
Look at that on-ball pressure by Khalif Allen. You know, Doug, I had a chance to talk to Alvin Young before the game, and I asked him, who plays you? Wow, how about that? Terrific job by Kamal McQueen stepping in. And we talked about how both teams are going to try to take away the cuts. And Kamal McQueen stepped into the center of the court, which means he took up about half of it and picked up the offensive charge. But I had a chance to talk to Alvin Young before the game, and I asked him, who plays you the best defense of anybody in this league? He said Khalif Allen. So we can expect to see Allen on him, but expect also Roger Blint to run a whole bunch of different guys at Alvin Young this game.
Jake Holmes at the high post. This is pretty much what we expected, Glenn. Neither team lighten up the scoreboard. They do have capable scorers, but the tempo as Amponsa picks up yet another foul. That's his third and the fourth against Niagara.
One of the advantages that I think that Joe Mihalik has is he's got guys like Darren Green and Luke Dobrich on the bench. Bellinger does a nice job of drawing contact. That's one of the things he does so well. He understands how to draw fouls and get into gaps. Dobrich comes in the game now for Niagara, but expect to see Darren Green, who had 20 points the last time these two teams met, off the bench for Niagara. An excellent freshman, understands the game so well.
Bellinger, the runner, kissed it off the glass. 3-2, St. Peter's. Johnson went to a strong hand on the reverse, but couldn't get it up on the glass high enough. It'll be Niagara ball on the end line. Niagara yesterday in the quarterfinals knocked off Loyola 78-77. Jason Rowe in defeat was terrific for the Greyhounds. Just missed what would have been the big three-pointer at the end.
About an eighth of an inch off the mark. That ball was down.
Alvin Young with a nice move to the basket.
He's got a very deceiving first step. Very quick, he kind of lulls you to sleep and then explodes. He's got great hesitation moves.
Well, we talked about it yesterday, Glenn. As the top seed, you have a bullseye on your chest. Niagara comes in as the co-champion along with Siena, but they got the top seed because of the tiebreaker system. And so the Loyolas of the world yesterday, the St. Peters of the world, want to knock off the number one. It's a tough way to get to the finals, but they're trying to do it if they can pick up a win here today. Time out on the floor. We'll be back with more MAAC basketball after this. Today's Did You Know feature is brought to you by Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. And did you know that Jermaine Johnson and Rodney Rogers of the Peacocks were teammates in high school of that NBA guy named Tim Thomas?
Not a bad player,
not
Patterson
bad
Catholic.
Company to be keeping. Let's
Jersey boys.
We'll send it over to Howard Simon.
In the last time out, Joe Mihalik said, hey, they're overplaying, they're physical. We knew they were going to do that, but you got to stay tough, and he credited Alvin Young on that last play, guys. He got bumped. He made the shot. He said after the game we want them to talk about how Niagara was the tougher team, not St. Peter's. He really stressed that a lot in this last time out. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Howard. Purple Eagles with the basketball, and we've got a foul on the perimeter against Hunter. Holding foul. That is the first against St. Peter's.
Johnson uses that high screen from Pewarka quite often, and Jamar Hunter was kind of looking for that screen, and he picks up the bump foul.
Meanwhile, a three-point miss by Young. St. Peter's trying to run the break. Jeremiah Johnson, though, broke it up.
And that's a nice job by Jeremiah Johnson getting back in defense, and here we see some full court pressure.
Spencer was guarding Johnson. Nice look inside, but Young couldn't finish. Don't often see him miss a bunny like that.
Great pass by Johnson. Just threading the needle. A little bounce pass. Good spin on the ball. Kicked it back up.
Bellinger, more of a mid-range jumper, misfires on his first three-point attempt. Hunter, though, got the long rebound. St. Peter's will pull it out. Roger Blynn's club comes in at 13-14. They were 10-8 in the conference. And the number 5 seed after being picked only to finish 9th in the preseason poll. But the Peacocks have surprised many. Here's Nate Bernowski into the game. Johnson all the way to the hole. You think that's a travel or no, Glenn?
Yes. I do. Now, one of the things that Niagara is going to try to do, Doug, is they're going to try to push the ball up the floor and get their front line players to beat the St. Peter's front line players down the floor. That's one of the objectives early this game for Joe Mahalik. Right now, it's not happening. I really like the tempo arrow. I think the tempo arrow is in favor right now of St. Peter's. St. Peter's wants to play this way. They know they're going to give up some easy baskets. Niagara likes to push, but in the way of slowing the game down and executing a half-court offense and slowing Niagara down a little bit, I think St. Peter's is doing it.
Niagara on top, 6-3, 14:30 left to go. First half, first semifinal. Here today at the Marine Midland Arena in Buffalo. Nice backdoor pass to Allen, who pulls up. Can't get the roll. And a bump by Allen as Alvin Young came out of the pack. Allen frustrated with himself after missing the easy shot. Great backdoor pass. Looked like an easy two for St. Pete's.
Kamal McQueen's an excellent passer from that elbow position, and Khalif Allen just misses an easy shot. I thought he should have went off the glass there. That's a tough play to make, that little 3 or 4 footer when you pull right up. Use the glass. Get some leverage.
Senior Rich Brown has come into the game for St. Peter's as you see the struggles for the Peacocks here in the early going. Johnson loses the handle momentarily. Somehow he gets the dribble back, gets to Pawerka, who missed. Young misses the tip. Pawerka on the offensive glass again. Back out to Johnson. The Purple Eagles finally cash in the three-pointer by Mr. Johnson.
St. Peter's is one of the best rebounding teams, limiting the turnovers against the pressure. Here they come.
Alvin Young, the up fake goes right around Kamal Queen. And Young's got himself 6 points, and the Marine Midland is rocking. Timeout called.
Well, Doug, Roger Blynn's got a problem right now because his team typically is a terrific defensive rebounding team. Pawerka's done a great job of keeping the ball alive. Alvin Young's an excellent offensive rebounder. They kept the ball alive, kicked back right to Jeremiah Johnson's hands. But St. Peter's is in a position right now where they have to make sure they only give up one shot and prevent second chance opportunities. Watch the miss. Alvin Young comes in for the offensive rebound. He misses. Pawerka keeps it alive. Goes up again. He misses. It's thrown back out, actually, by Brown. And Rich Brown's the guy that really got a hand on it to kick it back out. But they just could not recover to get back out on Jeremiah Johnson. And here's the play by Young. He's got the great hesitation move. He just kind of freezes you and explodes.
Well, we talked about the backcourt matchup. Johnson and Young have combined for 11, all 11 Niagara points, while St. Peter's has gotten just 2 from its backcourt. And speaking of backcourt trouble, Khalif Allen lost it. He says Johnson got a piece of it, but it's a backcourt violation, and the ball goes back over to Niagara.
You know, Doug, we talked about how the little things win basketball games. Picking up loose balls, the intangibles, offensive rebounding, and getting deflections. All that happened there was Jeremiah Johnson got a little deflection, got a finger on the ball. It nicked off of Khalif Allen, went into the backcourt, and that's turnover.
Niagara with the basketball, working on a 9-0 run. Alvin Young, the offensive board, to pull it back out.
Oh, Alvin Young really works. He's constant movement, had great position that time, getting in front of Khalif Allen.
Not going to count the basket. Still college basketball, no NBA continuation, but Alvin Young attacked the double team and winds up getting the call.
Well, they're trying to double team Alvin Young out top. Khalif Allen not in the right position. Little bump foul.
Second foul on Khalif Allen, third against St. Peter's. Another blocking foul. This one goes against Ricky Bellinger. So Alvin Young single-handedly getting the Peacocks in a little bit of foul trouble.
Well, what's happening right now, Niagara is giving Alvin Young room to operate. Spacing is the key to Alvin Young's game. If the other 4 players on Niagara spread the floor and give him room to operate, he becomes a very dangerous player. Right now, Roger Blinn making the change. Khalif Allen out of the game, and Damian Spencer's on Alvin Young.
Ricky Bellinger off the turnover. Gets the finger roll. He wanted the foul call, but that breaks the 9-0 run.
Bellinger's one of the best finishers in the MAAC conference in transition.
Darryl Green into the game, freshman off the bench.
I love him, Doug.
Little bank.
I love him. He just makes basketball plays. He's not overly quick. He doesn't get up that high. He just makes basketball plays. Good decisions on the floor.
Freshman from Hyattsville, Maryland, averages 4.5 points a game coming off the bench for Joe Mahalik's Purple Eagles. Niagara is 17-11. They went 13-5 during the regular season in the MAAC. to share the championship with the Siena Saints. And they are the top seed in the tournament. Kick basketball against Nate Bernoski. It'll be St. Peter's ball on the side. We send it back over to Howard Simon.
Guys, they're working on Khalif Allen on the sideline here. Number one, he's had some back problems. He's got a pad on it right now. Number two, might have hurt his thumb on the second foul that he took. Also, they were trying to get Damian Spencer to sub in for Allen after the second foul. They knew he had two. They couldn't do it. Allen got the key third foul, and he's out, and Spencer's in. And I'll update the injury on him.
Thanks, Howard. You know, I had a chance to talk to Khalif Allen in the locker room while he had a heating pad on his back before the game. It's been bothering him, and Damian Spencer really is the option number two in the way of defending Alvin Young. Roger Blinn knew it, and now he feels with that size it might be able to help and prevent Alvin Young from getting those easy baskets inside.
Foul against Peter Strobel. 6'8" junior from Monrovia, California, just into the game, picks up his first. You may have seen at the top of your screen, now in the top left-hand corner of your screen, there he is, Joe Mahalik. He just did a double jump leap that took him at least 2 or 3 feet out onto the court.
Well, Holmes puts the ball on the floor. You don't really see Jake Holmes try to operate. I think it really surprised Bernovsky on that play.
Hunter misfires. Luke Dobrich the rebound. Green's pass deflected away. But Spencer can't haul it in. It'll be Niagara basketball.
See, right now Roger Blinn is shaking his head saying, we got to pick up the loose balls. We got to do something with those loose balls. Right now Niagara is, I think, winning in the intangible category. They're getting deflections. They're picking up loose balls. Boy, those little things matter so much.
13-5 Niagara. Green guarded by Bellinger. Drop it off Bernoski. Block shot. Holmes. The outlet to Hunter. Quickly ahead Spencer. Shot over Dobrich, no good. And how about Strobel skying for the rebound?
Man, he got up on that rebound. How about Spencer avoiding the offensive charge?
Johnson the look away to Strobel, who has to kick it back out. Green for three. Kamal McQueen using some space to get the rebound. 13-5, Niagara on top, 11:35 to go in the first. Bellinger fouled on his way to the hoop.
You know, you watch Ricky Bellinger's game, and Roger Blinn knows this, and Ricky Bellinger has the innate ability to get into the mid-range spots on the floor and become dangerous. He could finish around the basket, but he's got the ability to pull up 5-7 feet from the basket and finish, and that's what makes him such a tough player. You could sag off Ricky Bellinger and give him the three-point shot. He's still going to take you to get into his spots, and he had a nice game yesterday against Canisius. He had 19 points and really let the game come to him. He didn't force things. I think he's really improved his overall game.
Yeah, talking to the coaching staff at St. Peter's, they've been very impressed with the way he's improved. We talked about it yesterday, that he still scores 16 a game. His numbers in a lot of ways seem to be the same, but he's taking better shots, involving his teammates. Right. He's been a better teammate. Case in point, the game at Manhattan a couple of weeks ago, where he was clearly the number one option. Right. With time winding down. He was triple teamed, kicked it to his teammate, which last year and the year before probably wouldn't have happened. He would have jacked it up, and instead he makes the proper pass, and St. Peter's comes up with a big road win.
And, you know, he didn't make my most improved team, and don't think I didn't hear about that from Ricky.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, he got me before the game a little bit.
Alvin Young steps back, but misses the three. Green after the rebound, and Holmes picks up the foul. Again, Niagara quicker to the basketball.
Yeah, this is somewhat of a surprise for Roger Blinn, because I really think he thought his team would do a better job on the defensive boards.
Timeout on the floor, 11:06 to go in the first. Niagara on top, 13-5 on the MAAC Television Network.
This is my business card. I'm a reporter and co-host for Adelphia. How did I get there? Well, before this, I worked on air at a local TV station. Good evening, this is Jody Johnston with a news update. I got that job thanks to an internship I did at Canisius. I guess it proves when you graduate from Canisius, a lot of good things are in the cards.
Marine Midland Bank is proud to sponsor the Marine Midland Family Section. Tickets and programs for today's game were provided by Marine Midland Bank for all your financial needs. Let's send it back over to Howard Simon.
Guys, that was the wake-up speech in the huddle from Roger Blinn. He said, it's almost like you guys aren't ready for this game. You're standing around, you're looking at other people, do your job. He was pounding his fist into the clipboard saying, you got to play hard, you got to get into this game, you got to block out. Khalif Allen, by the way, twisted his left ankle. He was retaped. He should be okay for the rest of the game. Back to you.
Howard, that's a good point, and that's the little intangible things that we're talking about. It's the loose balls, it's taking charges, it's getting deflections. Those are the things that St. Peter's needs to do this game against Niagara, against the great backcourt that Niagara has.
Strobel fouled. He'll go to the line for 2. Niagara has already grabbed 6 offensive rebounds to just 2 for St. Peter's. And the energy Peter Strobel has brought off the bench has been a difference.
Yeah, he's been terrific all tournament off the bench. He rolled nicely. And one of the things that Roger Blinn told me he was going to do on pick and rolls is to hedge out. No weak side defense there. It took him too long to get to the basket. And I think Roger's a little disappointment on the St. Peter's rotations right now.
Strobel hit a big free throw in yesterday's win over Loyola for Niagara. Knocks down his first here today. See, very limited playing time.
And he could shoot it. He's a good outside shooter, Strobel.
He seems to have worked his way into the playing rotation for Joe Mihalik's club. He knocks down both free throws. And Niagara leads 15-5. Here comes the half-court trap. Long cross-court pass from Spencer goes out of bounds untouched.
For all you point guards that are out there watching this, you don't want to pick your dribble on the side of the floor. Never pick it up because the sideline becomes the third defender, and then you got 3 guys on you. You want to split the traps, you want to keep the ball in the middle of the floor, and your teammates got to come and help you.
That was the 6th turnover against St. Peter's. We're not even 10 minutes into the game. Terry Edwards back into the ball game for Niagara with the dribble. Luke Dobrich is also checked back in. Darrell Green as well. Off on the 3. Spencer the strong rebound. Bellinger up ahead. He and Green look like a wide receiver and a defensive back going for it. Here comes Green back the other way. Darrell Green. Little wild shot. Holmes up tall for the rebound.
What a great play, though, defensively by Darrell Green. Holy smokes, he's able to get back.
Looked like a member of the Buffalo Bills going back as a safety. Jamar Hunter, nice move to the basket. And he is on the board. Senior out of Martin Luther King High School in New York. Averaging over 14 a game. Alvin Young now back the other way. Seems like he can get to the basket at will. Doesn't always finish, but he can shake off the dribble with the best of them. Hunter trying to run the break. Traveling violation called against Bellinger on the baseline. Roger Blinn has seen his club come out slowly. 15-7.
Jamar Hunter did a nice thing here. But what happens here, he's calling his teammates, come on, nobody was running with him. It was a 2-on-1 fast break. It could have been a 3-on-1, but his teammates did not get down and become targets. And Jamar Hunter has a lot to be upset about that. You got to run. You want to push the ball up the floor. Get 3-on-1s, 3-on-2s.
Instead, it turns into the 8th turnover. Strobel again with another, or that's Bernowski rather, with a rebound. Dangerous pass to Johnson. But the reverse.
That's
Jeremiah
a great move.
Johnson with 7.
Little drop step spin move. Jeremiah Johnson was able to get his leg around Jamar Hunter's and just leverage him away, and he was able to get to the hoop.
Bellinger short on the pull-up. Bernowski after the rebound, and we've got a timeout called by Niagara as Bernowski was falling out of bounds. He is the nuts and bolts of this Purple Eagle team.
Well, off the rebound, watch Bernowski get aggressive. Timeout right before he hits the floor.
Great look at it.
Smart play by Nate. He seems to be okay after he took that shot in the jaw yesterday from Rod Platt.
Well, remember, he had a broken jaw
right
previously, not this year, but before, that made him miss many games. And that was from diving after the ball and popping his chin on the hardwood.
And he's one of the toughest kids on the floor. And Roger Blinn has to be a little concerned about effort right now. You know, there's no substitution about playing at a high, intense level. And I'm not too sure that the Peacocks right now are playing at the intensity level that Roger would like them to play at.
Let's send it over to Howard.
Is off that point. Watch the heads of the St. Peter's players. Roger Blinn continually reminding them, get your heads up. Too many heads down, too many guys not in the game right now, and he's very upset about that.
They force a turnover, Bellinger and Hunter. And that's probably where the spark is going to have to come from.
Well, I think the big reason why St. Peter's came out victorious yesterday was they really turned up the screws defensively against Canisius. In the second half, they turned up the screws. They were able to get some opportunities off of their defense, and that intensity has been lacking Nice penetration. Rodney Rogers, who got very little playing time yesterday, is going to have to be a big factor underneath this game. And a lot of people think about St. Peter's team. They are a deep team. You got guys like Rich Brown, had a great game yesterday off the bench for St. Peter's. Rodney Rogers is terrific off the bench. This team is a lot deeper than people think.
Niagara 17, St. Peter's 9. 8 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in the first half. Here's another steal. Bellinger going on Green to the hole. The follow tip by Hunter. And Bellinger gets a technical. Art McDonald's heard enough. Bellinger had been working him. Thought he got another foul. And Art McDonald heard that last word, whatever it was, from Bellinger.
Well, you know, Doug, we learned last night at about midnight how important it is. See Ricky turn his head? Couple words. We learned last night, though, that how important it is to keep your cool and not say anything to the refs and stay cool and calm, because last night Phil Grant, who's typically cool, calm, and collected, just lost a little bit of composure, pushed one of the Mariners players, Sean Kennedy, technical foul, 5-point swing, boom, game over. And here's another case where momentum could change a little bit. Hunter comes in, makes a big play. Now Alvin Young goes to the free throw line, and Ricky Bellinger is an emotional player. You have to stay cool, calm, and collected. One of my most favorite players as a kid growing up, Doug, was Walt Frazier. Never said anything. Had a stoic game, unemotional, just took guys to school.
So Bellinger on the bench. Just when St. Peter's had strung together a little bit better defensive pressure, they had forced a couple of turnovers, got a couple of easy baskets. Just under 8 minutes to go in the first half. 8-point lead. Young somehow gets it through, over, and around Spencer. Alvin Young into double figures with 10.
You know, Doug, I've been saying that Tariq Kirksey leads the country in unorthodox shots. I'm not too sure anymore. It might be Alvin Young.
Bernowski to Johnson for three. Can't get the roll. Rebound. Young. There's your unorthodox shot. Didn't work out that time. But the Purple Eagles have it again.
Yeah, Kirksey and Alvin Young have this innate ability to make shots when you have no idea how they're even getting it up.
I think it's from the New York City playgrounds.
That helps.
Pawerka spots up. 24-11 Niagara with the lead. They've been leading right from the outset.
You know, Doug, the big difference in Niagara's team and game over the last 11 games is they're making about 11 3-point shots per game. In the beginning of the year, it was only 6, so that really could extend the defense out when they start making those shots. Guys like Pawerka, Alvin Young, Jeremiah Johnson, if they make threes, Niagara can become an extremely dangerous team. St. Peter's is trying to attack off the bounce. And here's a case where Alvin Young gets the ball in the lane, doesn't have anything with it, just kind of finds a way. He's trying to draw the foul, able to finish.
One of the aspects of Alvin Young's game that we don't talk nearly as much about, because there are so many aspects worth expounding on, is his rebounding.
Right.
As a 6'4" shooting guard, he gets 6 boards a game.
Yeah, he's an excellent offensive rebounder. He really hits the offensive glass. We've seen it this game. But I think the big difference between the Alvin Young of this year, MAAC Player of the Year, and last year is his ability to hit the 3-point shot. He's gotten more range in his jump shot for Joe Mahalik. Joe really worked with him on that this year. And
41%.
Right now it's causing some problems for Roger Blind. But Alvin Young causes problems for every coach in the league.
Just ask St. John's last year. Timeout on the floor with 6:56 remaining in the first half. Niagara leads by 11 on the MAAC Television Network. Here's a look at a summary of this season's Chase MAAC Players of the Week. And Alvin Young won the award the most times, and he went on to win the 1999 MAAC Player of the Year. The Chase MAAC Player of the Week brought to you by Chase Manhattan Bank. The right relationship is everything. Marcus Faison of Siena will be seeing in the second of our semifinal action between the Saints and the Marist Red Foxes. The winner of that one will face the winner of this game, Niagara and St. Peter's, tomorrow night, 7:30 here in Buffalo, for the right to go on to the NCAAs. We send it over to Howard.
Again, Roger Blind trying to get into the heads of his players, said, hey, it's simple. They're playing harder than you are. If you don't play any harder, we're going home, guys. He also said you got to start blocking out. You're not playing defense hard enough. Also got into on their press offense and said they got to do a little better job of running to their spots. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Howard. Foul off the ball. McQueen knocked over Dobrich and gets called for the personal.
Kamal McQueen trying to get through the screen on Dobrich, and that was an interesting scenario because Dobrich is about 160 pounds and Kamal McQueen is about 260. Dobrich looks like 6 o'clock, and McQueen looks like the clock. Not an easy screen to get by.
Pawerka after the offensive board, but taken away. Here comes Bellinger. Akbar Waheed has come into the game for the Purple Eagles. Pawerka and McQueen fighting for the basketball, and it's McQueen with it to Rogers. Strong move inside. Count the basket and the foul.
See, Doug, that's what Roger Blinn is talking about. McQueen gets the rebound. The ball is loose a little bit. His ability to pick it up, get the loose balls, be the first to the ball, enabled Rodney Rogers to finish that shot. It's the little things.
And I think Mike Pawerka may have taken a shot to the chops during this sequence.
Able to finish. The weak side defense just got there too quick. It's just picking up the little loose balls quickly.
Edwards the rebound. Niagara 24, St. Peter's 15.
Now when Alvin Young on the bench, Niagara will get into that motion offense and try to rub off the screens. The only true scoring threat on the floor right now is really Jeremiah Johnson.
Waheed the offensive board. Second chance points clearly in favor of Niagara so far in the game. 12-2 on second chance points. That means they're working hard on the offensive glass. Jeremiah Johnson at the point, guarded by Hunter.
And it's surprising because St. Peter's is the #1 team in the MAAC in the way of defensive rebounding and rebounding margin. So Niagara really going at it.
Strobel. Peter Strobel. He has become Mr. MAAC tournament for the Purple Eagles off the bench. He averaged only 1.8 points per game during the regular season, and yesterday and today, and there's a steal for Strobel. We've seen a lot of action. Dobrich fouled by Bellinger. Ricky's got to be careful not to pick up another technical foul.
Yeah, he's such an emotional player, and a lot of times he lets those emotions take over his game. A nice steal, and Dobrich just kind of tries to protect the ball. He knows Bellinger's behind him. Bellinger thought he had a clean block. Let's take a look at it. Tough call. Got his hand. And Dobrich is part of the deep backcourt that Joe Mihalik has the luxury of playing. Guys like Dobrich and Darryl Green, Nate Bernovsky, who can play the guard spot as well, Akbar Waheed at that swing spot, who's the defensive specialist.
Spencer and McQueen go out. Dobrich gets 1 out of 2. Alvin Young replaces Dobrich. Pressure by the Purple Eagles. Khalif Allen, you may have been able to see him shake his left hand. He clearly is still struggling with that hand injury. 5 minutes to go in the first half of our first men's semifinal here in Buffalo. 28-15 Niagara. Bellinger gets the ball to trickle over the rim. Bellinger's got 6 points. Akbar Waheed. Edwards gets the rebound away from Rogers, and he lays it in.
He brings so much athleticism to the table for Niagara. 6'7", he's versatile, he offensive rebounds, he could shoot the basketball. A terrific addition for Joe Mihalik this year.
Allen tries to fight through the double team and does. Lamar Hunter fouled on his way to the paint. Edwards reached in.
Doug, right now Niagara is trapping the first pass on the wing. St. Peter's is going to have to do a better job of swinging the basketball and dribble penetrate before the trap gets there. That's what Hunter does there. He was able to get by the first defender before the trap came, and he was able to draw the foul.
See the day he had yesterday, lighten up the Golden Griffs, and that was pretty much all in the second half. 25 of those 27 came after the intermission. McQueen back in, Rogers goes out. Bellinger, Allen, and Hunter on the floor, the starting 3 guards for St. Peter's. With Jake Holmes and Kamal McQueen, Roger Blind has the starting unit on the court. 4:26 to go in the first half. Well, the backcourt comparison, Young and Johnson for Niagara have 17 points. St. Peter's backcourt has picked it up. They've got 12, yet they're still trailing by 11.
Might have got away with a carry on that play.
Edwards turned it over. McQueen got a hand on the ball. And so St. Peter's gets it back.
If there's one area that Niagara has struggled this year is executing a half-court offense.
Jake Holmes fouled by Akbar Waheed, going for that deflected ball. And so Holmes will go to the free throw line.
Niagara plays its best basketball when they, kind of like Siena, get the ball off their defense in the transition game, push it up. And there's the pass from Hunter, and Holmes steps to the basketball. See how he stepped to it? He didn't just wait for the ball to come to him. That would have been a turnover from St. Peter's standpoint if Big Jake didn't go after it.
Holmes, a 62% foul shooter, senior from Toledo, Ohio. Started his college career at Bowling Green State University. 1 out of 2 for Jake. He's on the scoreboard. And we have a timeout on the floor with 3:58 left to go in the first half. It's a 10-point Niagara lead over St. Peter's in the MAAC semifinals. We'll be back with more MAAC basketball after this.
Maybe it's time you found some fun that's more your size. Rent the Ford Ranger pickup from Budget. It has a huge security trunk and a 4-door extended cab, so you'll be able to carry on like a real grown-up. You can ride the Ranger for just $19.99 a day. That's a lot less than an ordinary rental car. Budget. Get out of the ordinary.
450 years of Jesuit tradition are woven into a Fairfield University education, an education characterized by academic excellence and service to the community. This success is fostered by a caring faculty that knows their students as individuals. Located just an hour from New York City, Fairfield combines a park-like campus conducive to learning with the city's cultural and career advantages. Fairfield University, where education reflects the challenges and opportunities of a changing world.
Here's a look at a summary of this season's Chase MAAC Rookie of the Week. Jermaine Clark of Fairfield wound up being the Rookie of the Year, and he was the top man all year long. Let's send it over to Howard now.
A couple of notes, guys. One, Joe Mahalik talking to Terry Edwards, telling him not to hang his head after that last turnover on the St. Peter's baseline. He felt Edwards was hanging his head a little bit. Also, he talked about trying to draw another foul, taking the charge. Allen is out there with 3. Hunter and Bellinger have 2. He stressed to his players, you got to take a charge and get them in worse foul trouble. Back to you.
Thank you, Howard. And they got to start crashing the boards and boxing out. They're being out-rebounded 23-11. As a matter of fact, Niagara has more offensive rebounds than St. Peter's has rebounds altogether.
Yeah, and that's been the story so far in the first half, is the offensive rebounding prowess by the Niagara front line. Guys like Kawerka, Strobel, Alvin Young, Terry Edwards really hitting the offensive boards for Niagara.
Allen gets it to Bellinger. 3.5 minutes to go in the first. 30-20, Niagara with the lead. Purple Eagles sitting in his zone. Allen, nice pass to McQueen, but he missed the layup. Kamal McQueen gets the second. His first field goal, he's got 3 points. And it's back to an 8-point game. 3:10 to go in the first half. Edwards had a good look but couldn't get it to go down, but Strobel there again for the offensive rebound. And Jeremiah Johnson continues to make St. Peter's pay.
You know, Alvin Young kept that ball alive inside for Strobel to gather it back, and once again St. Peter's really struggling. What they're doing now is they're trying to get rebounds by just jumping up and trying to get the ball. No one's staying on the ground and boxing out and moving the Niagara players out of the paint. 19
of the 32 Niagara points have come off of missed shots. Offensive rebounds, putbacks. 2.5 minutes to go in the half. It's a 10-point game.
Now Joe Mahalik is not trapping when the ball comes in. He's just playing some honest, straight defense. One of the spots that you give up, Doug, is that those little baseline putbacks by guys like McQueen and Jake Holmes. Joe Mahalik told me before the game, when he does go zone, he's very concerned about rebounding and giving up those easy baskets inside.
Edwards called for a travel. Or a jump step, or a double dribble, or whatever you want to call it. He took one too many step, and good help defense by St. Peter's.
He picked the ball up, left his feet, then took the two-step hop. That's a travel.
Edwards goes out.
Edwards, if you remember, was the player that fouled Jamar Hunter on that fast break that put him out for a couple of games where he injured his knee and wrist.
Nice look from Holmes for the layup to Hunter. 10 points for Jamar Hunter. Nate Bernowski's come back into the game. Alvin Young with it now for the Purple Eagles. 1:40 to go here in the first from the Marine Midland Arena in Buffalo.
You know, Doug, Jamar Hunter is a true warrior. A terrific game yesterday. He might be the most banged-up player in this tournament. He's still limping. He's got the little limp in his knee because his left knee is still bothering him. Weak side defense got there too late, Doug. That's how quick Alvin Young is, because Khalif Allen is a quick defender, and he read it right. He just couldn't get there quick enough. But watch this move. This is Alvin Young's game. He reads defenses so well. Great pass out top by Pawerka, but the defense got there way too late.
And Glenn, that is foul number 4 against Khalif Allen. You talked about Roger Blinn saying pick up the charge. Right. He tried, but it went against him.
Yeah, and you talk to Alvin Young about Khalif Allen. He feels he defends Alvin Young the best of anybody in the MAAC, and now he's got 4. And boy, that's an early 4 to get.
Yeah, really hamstrings it. Young completes the three-point play. He's got a baker's dozen, 13 points for the nation's #1 scorer. 35-26, about 20 to go in the first half. Bellinger strong to the basket, couldn't get it to go. Pawerka made him change his shot. Green driving the baseline for 2.
Nice job by Jeremiah Johnson getting in the middle of the floor to become a threat, and that opened up that little angle drive by Darren Green.
Under a minute remaining. You see the time left on your screen. Spencer the floater. Johnson spins away from the pack. It's a 3-on-2. Green the offensive rebound, and yet another putback. And a foul called on Bernowski on the reach-in. At some point, the Peacocks have to start boxing out.
You know, on that transitional break there, Jeremiah Johnson, I thought, took it in too deep. It was a 3-on-1 fast break. Watch Jeremiah. He should have stopped at the foul line. It's a 3-on-1 break. Stop at the foul line. See how 2 guys can now play 3? He just kind of threw it up. Stop at the foul line. Take the little 10-foot jump shot. Spread the defense out. There's Jeremiah. Such a streaky player, but boy, he's had a terrific senior year. And Roger Blinn right now has to make sure he doesn't let the tempo get away, and he's dug himself somewhat of a hole. Not too bad, but he doesn't want to go up and down that often with Niagara. They're too deep of a team and too explosive.
Keith Sellers back into the game, replacing Ricky Bellinger. Bellinger goes back to the bench with 6 points. Sellers is a sophomore from Norwalk, Connecticut. Meanwhile, Spencer misfires, and Jeremiah Johnson the rebound. Shot clock is off, so the Purple Eagles can hold for a final shot, leading by 10.
Expect to see in isolation. They're going to spread the floor, almost like the North Carolina 4 corners, and let Alvin Young go to school.
Here's Young, the floater in the paint. Nothing but net. Alvin Young with 15 points, and time will expire in the first half. It's been all Purple Eagles, and the fans here in Western New York love it. The top seeds from Niagara go to the locker room with a 12-point lead over St. Peter's. Let's send it over to Howard Simon, standing by with Joe Mahalik of Niagara.
Joe, just general comments. Obviously, I guess you're pleased with the rebounding in the first half.
Well, I thought we really were active on the glass. We said going in, we can't bang with these guys, but we can be quicker and we can be more active. And I think we did those things. It's a great credit to our kids because we're not a great rebounding team. The only way we can rebound is by out hustling them. I thought we were really scrappy on the glass.
All right, Joe. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Joe Mahalik from Niagara. Guys, let's send it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Howard. And we are at the half with a 12-point Niagara lead. The top seeds looking good through 20 minutes. We'll be back with more MAAC basketball after this.
The 1999 inaugural MAAC Ice Hockey League Championship hits the ice in Worcester, Massachusetts at Holy Cross's Hart Center. The semifinals are slated for Friday, March 19th, and the championship will be Saturday, March 20th. Catch all the action of college hockey's newest sensation as the first ever MAAC champion is crowned. An all-session pass is affordably priced at $10. Call 508-793-2573 for information and tickets. Catch the fire on ice of MAAC hockey.
Distinguish yourself at Manhattan College, ranked among the top Northeastern colleges and universities by U.S. News and World Report. Join our caring campus community in Riverdale, New York, where the student-to-professor ratio is 15-1. Be part of an impressive group of Manhattan College alumni, ranked third in the nation in corporate leadership. Whether your goal is business, arts, education, engineering, or science, we'll help you show the world what makes you unique. Call 1-800-MC2-EXCEL.
Marist is a small liberal arts college with a national reputation for excellence in teaching. State-of-the-art technology at Marist helps students prepare for graduate school or business. Marist received the Cause Award as one of the top 4 colleges in the use of technology in and out of the classroom, along with Cornell, Stanford, and Duquesne universities. Marist's 150-acre riverfront campus is in the heart of the historic Hudson River Valley, 75 miles from New York City. To find out more about Marist, call 1-800-436-50.
Inaugural MAAC Ice Hockey League Championship hits the ice in Worcester, Massachusetts at Holy Cross's Hart Center. The semifinals are slated for Friday, March 19th, and the championship will be Saturday, March 20th. Catch all the action of college hockey's newest sensation as the first ever MAAC champion is crowned. An all-session pass is affordably priced at $10. Call 508-793-2573 for information and tickets. Catch the fire on ice of MAAC hockey.
Fans, the inaugural MAAC Hockey League Championship hits the ice March 19th and 20th at Holy Cross's Hart Center in Worcester, Massachusetts. All session passes are affordably priced at $10. For more information, call 508-793-2573. Doug Sherman, Glenn Consor, and Howard Simon back in Buffalo. We're just moments away from the start of the second half. Joe Mahalik's Purple Eagles of Niagara have gotten good production out of the backcourt. Young with the 15 points. Jeremiah Johnson, 9.6 boards on his way to a double-double. You'd expect him to have the assist double-double, but Peter Strobel also with a lot of energy off the bench. And on the flip side, you saw, again, the guards are the leading scorers for the Peacocks. But again, back to the statistics that we showed you in the last segment. Niagara has more offensive rebounds, 16, than St. Peter's has total rebounds, 15.
Yeah, that's because the rebounders for St. Peter's, Jake Holmes, Kamal McQueen, Damian Spencer, and Rich Brown combined for about 9 rebounds. And that's really hurting St. Peter's right now. Holmes and McQueen are going to have to step it up, and the guards are going to have to go in and get it as well.
The Purple Eagles with the first possession of the second half. The top-seeded team from Niagara in their gray uniforms with purple trim. St. Peter's wearing its traveling aqua colors. Change in the starting lineup for St. Peter's here in the second half. Damian Spencer gets the call with Khalif Allen with the ailing back and the other problems he has, plus the foul trouble that he has. Khalif Allen has 4 personals. Nobody else has 3 on either side, not yet.
Right away, Niagara starts out getting another offensive rebound. When St. Peter's beat Canisius in the first round of the MAAC tournament yesterday, they did a great job turning up the screws in the second half with their perimeter defense. And let's see if St. Peter's still has the energy to do that this game in the second half. They're going to need to do it on defense.
Jake Holmes, strong move over Pawerka. His first field goal And it's back to a 10-point game. 1 minute gone here in the second. Alvin Young drills the 21-footer. 18 points for Young.
Great concentration. You had Jake Holmes, 6'11", 270, running at him. Great concentration. As Joe Mahalik calls out 40, expect to see a trap right away on the wings. Here's the trap.
Little wraparound blind pass that McQueen is able to convert.
Well, you know the game plan in the second half from Roger Blinn. Let's pound it down low and take it right to the throats of the front line, and that's exactly what they're doing. The first option went to Jake Holmes. Second option is going right down to McQueen, who has this soft touch around the basket. He's got those nice soft hands.
McQueen was on the MAAC All-Rookie team a year ago. Averaged 8.5 points. He's raised his scoring average a bit as a sophomore.
I still think he needs to lose a few LBs, maybe like 15, 20. He's always going to be big, and I think it helps his game. But I still think he needs to get into better condition to become more of an effective player for Roger Blinn.
And they're still trying to come over that nagging knee injury. Here's Hunter. Jamar Hunter with a dozen.
Oh, that's a little New York City schoolyard strip by Jamar Hunter on Jeremiah Johnson.
Johnson with the jump stop and the foul before the shot.
On the crossover, Hunter stays down. Watch him how he stays down on his defensive stance. He doesn't get up. Little lunge, just kind of waiting for him. Just picked his pocket. Took his watch and able to convert.
Foul on Hunter was his third. 17:50 left to go, second half, 42-34. Another turnover by the Purple Eagles. And St. Peter's, perhaps, has tightened up just a bit, just like they did yesterday, you said.
Second half, pressure. Absolutely. Yep. Second half against Canisius, they did a great job of causing a whole bunch of turnovers on the guards of Canisius out top. And with this three-guard offensive team that St. Peter's has between Bellinger, Hunter, and Allen, they could really put pressure out top, cause some problems.
And they have caused the Purple Eagles to turn the ball over 3 times already here in the first 2.5 minutes of the second half.
Ricky Bellinger is not a great shooter. What he is, Doug, is a scorer. He finds a way to lean, get fouled, get into gaps, and score. Look how he goes around Pawerka and draws contact.
And Bellinger, a 73% foul shooter, hits his first.
You know, we got some great kids in the MAAC. You know, a lot of people think about the quality of the kids in different programs. Ricky Bellinger is about as nice as they come. Jamar Hunter, a terrific kid. Alvin Young, you're not going to find anyone better. Jeremiah Johnson, terrific guys. I really had a good time spending some time with these guys this year. Really enjoyed their company.
Johnson, Young, Amponsa, Edwards, and Pawerka on the floor for the Purple Eagles. McQueen, Holmes, Hunter, Bellinger, and Allen out there for St. Peter's. 17:15 to go in the second half. The winner of this one will play for the MAAC championship tomorrow night here at the Marine Midland Arena. With the shot clock winding down, Young unable to connect. Defensive rebound for Holmes.
How about Jake Holmes taking down the whole arena on that rebound? Holy smokes. A couple of beams came down from the ceiling.
And Ricky Bellinger now with 10 points.
Hey, we got a game.
4-point difference. Niagara 42, St. Peter's 38. It's an 11-3 run here in the second half for St. Peter's.
St. Peter's was playing straight man, and right now they're trying to take away some of the cuts on Niagara, and that's been the difference.
Young works his way to the hoop. Jake Holmes is really picking it up.
Jake Holmes has come alive. He had that big, strong rebound where the Jumbotron almost came down, and now he's doing a great job moving his feet, and that's the difference. He's moving his feet on defense. Jake Holmes is not that quick, 7 feet, 270, but he played it well and was able to rotate down.
Alvin Young shot blocked again. Shot clock down to 2. Edwards can't get it off, and St. Peter's defensively holds. Shot clock violation. And certainly the Peacocks have picked it up. They're down 4, and they get the ball back.
One of the constants in basketball is that if you play defense, And if you play solid defense and get deflections and get steals, you're going to win basketball games. And right now, there's a deflection. St. Peter's has really turned it up a notch defensively. But they have to take care of the basketball.
Niagara trying to snap that 9-0 run. Young snaps it in a big-time way. And one. 20 points already for Alvin Young.
Jake Holmes, after that basket by Alvin Young, looked like a deer getting hit with the headlights. He was kind of frozen by Young, standing right there. He did a nice job of not picking up the kind of swing foul. He had his hand straight up, and he was a little shocked after Alvin Young. He's got that soft touch around the basket. That's the difference in this game. He can go in full speed and just throw it up nice and soft.
Second foul on Holmes. As Young completes the three-point play, we have a timeout on the floor from Buffalo. We'll be back with more MAAC basketball after this. Back in Buffalo, and tightened up just a little bit since the intermission. St. Peter's down by 7. They had cut it to 4, but the three-point play by Alvin Young just before the break. And the Peacocks are 4 for 4 shooting here in the second half to help pick things up.
And you see Pawerka talking to Joe Mahalik, and all they're talking about is a way to keep Jake Holmes now off the boards. And you see the field goal percentage shooting, both teams dead even in the first half. Second half, still pretty close. Shot selection really has not been the issue this game. It's really been rebounding and defense.
Allen's bounce pass knocked out of bounds by the hustling Nate Bernowski. Jeremiah Johnson also in pursuit. One thing Kamal McQueen does have is a pretty good handle on the ball for a guy his size.
Right. And he also has a nice feel for the game. He really is a good passer from that elbow spot on the floor. But they really needed some more scoring from Kamal McQueen this year.
Alvin Young is feeling it.
Dangerous.
I should say, when doesn't he feel it? That's 24 for Alvin Young. He's already got his season average, which is tops in the NCAA. Under the crossover. Can't get the roll on the pull-up. Looks like Niagara has weathered that early storm by St. Peter's. They've opened it back up to a 10-point lead. Bellinger knocks it out of bounds. It'll be Purple Eagles ball on the sideline.
Too much handle. Hunter did a nice job of staying down that time on Johnson, but a little too much handle there. You want to just go by somebody. You don't want to pound the ball on the floor.
Alvin Young, a 6'3", 182-pound senior from Brooklyn. This is Jeremiah Johnson, his running mate in the backcourt. Set play, Young flashed from the baseline up to the free throw line, but Johnson's pass was a little bit too far in front of Young. Just over 5 minutes gone here in the second. Bellinger and McQueen in the backcourt.
See Niagara sitting back in that 2-3 zone, and Khalif Allen's going to have to start making some shots. Everybody's kind of focusing right now. Niagara's really focusing right now on Bellinger and Hunter. Allen's going to have to step into the gaps. Nice dish inside. Pawerka just didn't move his feet around McQueen. To play low post defense against a guy like Kamal McQueen, you got to take short, choppy steps to get around his body. You got to be quick.
Kamal McQueen now with 10 points.
But that body's so big, it's kind of like walking around a block.
48-40. Niagara with the basketball and the lead. Purple Eagles offense here in the second half has been all Alvin Young. He scored all 9 Niagara points. Bernowski strong to the hole, missed it. Holmes has the outlet stolen by Johnson, who spins into the paint. St. Peter's basketball.
Jeremiah Johnson's just so quick. His ability to recover, go from defense to offense, but not a good shot. He made the steal, and right now you want to bring the ball back out. Bernowski gets back in, the offensive rebound, he just couldn't get it out. Not a good pass. Watch this move. You want to bring that back out and run a play. Threw it up, left-handed, off balance, then it goes off his hands.
Hunter the strong move. Count the basket and the foul.
I love Jamar Hunter. His ability to, he's just so poised. Brings so much savvy and a sense of calmness to the floor for St. Peter's. And he reads defense as well. Does a nice job of freezing Pawerka, under control, doesn't pick up the charge. No wasted motion in his game.
Well, we talked about his high school career, that game where he was playing against Stephon Marbury.
City championship.
Hunter went to Martin Luther King, and at very least went toe-for-toe with Marbury.
Well, that's something to tell you. Actually, it's something to tell your kids about. He goes up against Stephon Marbury, Lincoln High School, and Jamar Hunter wins the MVP of the city championship.
And Marbury this year really is turning himself into a big-time NBA player. He's really blossomed.
And he's scoring a lot of points.
13:30 to go in the second. 48-43, Niagara with the lead and the basketball. Holmes the steal, stripped it away from Strobel. Bellinger into the front court. Offensive foul against Bellinger, who's got to be careful.
So Ricky's got to be cool, calm, and collected here. A good isolation. The defense really has been the difference for St. Peter's in the second half. Guys like Jake Holmes is picking up loose ball, and he goes right at Bernofsky. That's a tough call. That is a tough call. I thought Bernofsky reached. I'm sorry, Strobel reached on that play. He wasn't stationary. Tough call.
13:05 to go in the second. Offensive foul against Alvin Young. Clear out with the forearm. Officials never do makeup calls, do they?
No. And that really doesn't make Ricky Bellinger feel better. But Bellinger stayed down on defense, took it on the chest. Good payback action from Bellinger's standpoint.
Nonetheless, Bellinger's got 3 fouls.
Bellinger's improved his defense as well. He's really moving his feet. That's how he took that charge.
Edwards fouls McQueen on the low post. During halftime, GMAC, the GM College Grad Program, and your local Pontiac dealers are proud to sponsor the GMAC Shootout. Grads, now is the time to reward yourself. See your participating GM dealer for details or visit their website at gmgrad.com. Darrell Green comes back in. Edwards goes out. St. Peter's with the basketball, trailing by 5. Playing for the right to go to the MAAC title game. Before the shot. Young picks up his third and his second quick one here on the block.
Bellinger's got that quick step. That might have been a double dribble on that play as he put the ball back up. Boy, it's easy to be an official at this angle. Huh?
Absolutely. Just like it's easy to be a coach.
That's right. Oh, that's a great pass. Right into the gap of the zone.
Second straight time we've seen Khalif Allen thread the needle down to McQueen.
How about the hands on McQueen, though? Those aren't easy catches.
Like suction cup.
Absolutely.
McQueen's got a dozen. And it's a 3-point game. Bernofsky and Strobel out there with Johnson and Young working the perimeter. Darrell Green also on the floor for Niagara. Young misfires. A lot of screaming going on underneath. Here comes St. Peter's. Allen misses the finger roll.
Oh, he took his eye off the basket and looked at Alvin Young trying to take the offensive charge. You got to focus on the rim.
Bellinger called for the blocking foul. That's his 4th. Things are heating up here in Buffalo with a timeout on the floor. 48-45 Niagara on the MAAC Television Network. GMAC salutes Jim Ball as the GMAC Pontiac dealer of the game. Jim Ball Pontiac GMC Buick is the place to find great deals on a variety of Pontiac vehicles that qualified customers can finance or smart lease with GMAC. Jim Ball Pontiac is located at 3475 Southwestern Avenue in Orchard Park, New York. If you can't stop by, give them a call at 716-667-2000. Or for more information on other great GM offers, call GMAC at 1-800-32-SMART. Let's send it back over to Howard Simon.
Hey, guys, couple of quick things from the huddle. It looks like Bellinger's staying in the game with the 4 fouls, and they're going to try and do some post-up work with Allen, and he's got 4 fouls. Roger Blinn told me you got to be very careful. Jake Holmes really getting into the players on the bench. Said, hey, we were down 7 at the first timeout. We're down 3 at this timeout. We're going to be in the lead at the next timeout. I got to tell you guys, I didn't see any of that energy on the bench in the entire first half. Now they're fired up.
Well, with the 5 that's on the floor right now, looks like Bellinger is on the bench. I would have been a little surprised, Howard, if in fact Bellinger would have been on the floor. I would have probably put him back in maybe 7-6 minutes to go. Can't afford a quick foul on Bellinger, but that really changes the complexion right now from St. Peter's standpoint because Bellinger's been hot but the defense has to be there. Now, right now, Roger Blinn went from the zone. I thought St. Peter's did a nice job when they switched back to the zone coming off this segment. Now they went to man-to-man, and this is where Alvin Young really goes to work.
Now, Glenn, you spent 5 years as a scout for the NBA's Washington Bullets. There were NBA scouts in attendance at yesterday's quarterfinal game, a couple of them to watch Alvin Young. As the leading scorer in the country, do you think he's an NBA prospect?
I think he's got a chance. As the more I see Alvin Young play up close, the more I really think that he has some skills that can make it in the NBA. He has to work on his handle a little bit more, and he's got to get a little bit stronger, but his outside shot is really coming. I think that's the difference. I like his size, and his defense has to improve, but I clearly think he's got a shot at that off-guard spot. But when you're 6'4", 6'3" in the NBA, you got to be able to handle the ball at the guard spot like a point guard. Everybody in the NBA is a combo guard.
Yeah, and at 6'4", 182, might want to put on some weight as well, because
got to get stronger.
Get pounded on in that league.
You got to guard guys like Stoudemire and Rod Strickland. You have to be quick and strong.
Field goal shooting here in the second half has been very telling. Niagara only 3 for 12. St. Peter's 7 out of 10.
And I'll tell you something else about Alvin Young that NBA teams like. They like his attitude. They like his passion for the game. You can't substitute that. You put Alvin Young on the bench, he's going to help your team.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You never want a sulking player anywhere, but particularly on the end of your bench, and he would be certainly the antithesis of that. Always with a smile on his face. Allen. Short on the three. Offensive board. Spencer can't get the roll, but he'll go to the line. Damian Spencer averages only 3 points and 3 rebounds, but with the foul trouble that St. Peter's is in, he's going to have to play a big role.
A little role reversal in the second half in the way of offensive rebounding and picking up loose balls. Spencer does a nice job hitting the glass. Now, all of a sudden, the tide has turned. St. Peter's is doing a better job on the offensive boards, and Niagara's going to have to tighten the screws.
You saw the graphic. Bernosky has picked up his 4th foul, so with 10:56 remaining, Bernosky goes out, Edwards back in. A lot of foul trouble going around. Strobel able to get the defensive rebound. 50-46. Niagara with a 4-point lead, and Spencer has the defensive assignment on Young, guarding him from midcourt.
Nice job by Jake Holmes stopping the penetration. You see the big guy step in, help out the guard? I like that.
Johnson forces. Rebound St. Peter's. Khalif Allen running. Up ahead Spencer, but it was deflected out of bounds by Green. It'll be St. Peter's basketball in front of the Peacocks bench.
Give a lot of credit to Jake Holmes, who's doing a great job in the second half. He's playing with a lot of energy.
Another great catch on the post by McQueen. With those suction cup hands, he's got 14 points.
Hey, buckle up. We got a good one here, Doug. Here comes the defense again with St. Peter's. Hunter really turns the screw up in the second half defensively. Great on-ball pressure against Canisius and now in the second half against Niagara.
And because of that defensive pressure, the offense comes a lot easier. 25 of his 27 yesterday after the intermission. Spencer comes up with it.
Nice job by Spencer. He should have pulled it out a little higher where he picked his dribble up. He's got to get rid of it.
Allen comes to him finally. Now Khalif, the shovel pass, knocked away. Right to Holmes. We're tied at 50.
Boy, they're attacking. They're not only attacking defensively, St. Peter's, but they're attacking offensively as well.
Two different teams between the first half and the second half.
That's a sign of good coaching. Roger Blinn's a good coach. To get your team at halftime and have them come out in the second half with that kind of intensity, it's a nice job.
Strobel hits the three. For the limited minutes he's played a huge role the last 2 days for the Purple Eagles.
Strobel stroking it.
8 points for the junior out of Monrovia, California. And good hustle by Strobel to knock it out of bounds. It'll be St. Peter's basketball.
You know, everybody talks about how deep the bench is for Niagara in the backcourt. Well, Strobel has been a factor in the tournament so far, playing that power forward spot.
Spencer, the pull-up. Kawerka the rebound. Quickly up ahead, Alvin Young finds some space and lays it in. 28 for Alvin Young.
You can't forget Alvin Young. He leaks a little bit on defense and tries to get some cherry-pick shots, but that time he was able to finish. You have to always make sure that if one guard penetrates, the other guard's back when you play Niagara.
St. Peter's was able to rally and tie it up at 50, but they couldn't quite get over the hump. Down by 5 once again. Plenty of time to go, 8.5 minutes on the clock. Holmes, top of the key, shot clock you see under 10. Now Holmes has to put it on the floor. Stagnant offensive set for St. Peter's, and Spencer couldn't hit the three. Here comes McQueen to the sideline, and he saved it. And McQueen back the other way. He's everywhere. Blocking foul, baskets waved off. Kamal McQueen is everywhere.
And I got to tell you, McQueen went to the sidelines to save a ball, and the left side of the Marine Midland Arena just took off. Watch this. There's about 20 people that just take off.
The whole side of the arena starts ducking.
Yep.
But he comes back, and here he goes.
That's a good call. I like that call.
And that's the 4th on Edwards.
He's playing hard. Kudos to Kamal McQueen this game. He's moving his feet. He's active.
Well, of the 4 times we've seen St. Peter's this year on the television network, this is clearly the most active he's been.
Right. He's moving his feet, Doug. He's become proactive on offense, and I like the way he's moving without the ball. That's how he's making all those catches inside. He's just becoming active.
Let's send it over to Howard.
Howard's still running because he was on the sidelines when McQueen was trying to go for the loose ball. Howard's like down the street halfway into the city of Buffalo right now.
His wireless microphone may have been...
He's still running. He hasn't even turned around.
Right.
He doesn't even know the game's going on now.
He's out in Tonawanda.
Right. See, I thought he was going to take the charge on McQueen, you know?
55-51. Niagara with the lead. 8 minutes to go. Hunter. 1-point game once again. Jamar Hunter up to 16 points.
Great players make basketball plays and big shots. And that's Alvin Young and Jamar Hunter. They've come through all tournament for their teams. What a great shot, big shot by Hunter.
Edwards. Kamal McQueen.
Boy, he's been just so aggressive offensively. He's getting defensive rebounds. And St. Peter's has made the adjustment in the second half, doing a better job on the defensive boards, preventing those second chance opportunities, Doug.
Time out on the floor in Buffalo. It's a 1-point Niagara lead on the MAAC Television Network. Fans, be a part of the 2000 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship as the MAAC, Canisius College, and Niagara University host the East Region first and second round games here at the Marine Midland Arena. That's next year, the year 2000, on March 17th and 19th. Ticket application information, call 716-819-NCAA. Let's send it over to Howard Simon.
Guys, Alvin Young getting into his teammates that time in the huddle saying, hey, we should never give up an offensive rebound off a missed free throw. We're the first place team that start playing like that. Joe Mahalik was very positive, saying, look, we'll play like we did in the first half. We'll be fine. You guys are going to make plays. We'll send it back over to you.
Thank you, Howard. St. Peter's with a chance to take the lead. Bernowski the rebound. Lost the handle trying to get it to Johnson. Another chance to take the lead. That's the first time St. Peter's has been on top since 3-2. Peacocks lead at 56-55.
Niagara has 18 turnovers in the game versus St. Peter's 13, and that's been the difference in the second half. Niagara turning the ball over and St. Peter's capitalizing on those turnovers.
Peacocks on a 6-0 run.
Great defense that time by Allen on Darren Green.
Green follows up his own miss. He has 6. Out of bounds and back over to the Purple Eagles, who have a 1-point lead and get the ball back.
I said earlier that Darrell Green just makes basketball plays. Well, that was just another one. He stayed down. He forced Allen out of bounds, and now Allen gets up limping. He gets his foot on that baseline. That's a tough call. It might have been a bump foul. And Allen got up limping, and he's one guy, Roger Blinn. That's one guy Roger Blinn needs on the floor is Khalif Allen. Might have strained his hamstring or his calf.
Spencer and Young having a little bit of fun. Spencer taking the challenge of trying to shut down the #1 scorer. There's Young backdoor. He had it, but Pawerka didn't see him. This is Young working out front. Another crossover, draws the contact. Very nearly got it to go down. Why Spencer would be smiling with that defensive assignment, I don't know. Certainly steps up for the challenge, but Alvin Young is a handful.
I think Alvin Young shook the smile on his face. That's what happened, because he did a little juke move out top, and Niagara did a nice job of opening up the middle of the floor. And when Alvin Young has room to operate, he's just so tough for anyone in the league to stop. He's too quick for guys 6'7", 6'6" in this league. And for the guys that are smaller than Alvin, he could post you up, and Joe Mahalik has that luxury of giving him the green light.
One more gives him 30 on the day. Back to a 3-point Niagara lead. Fans, to find out more about MAAC basketball, go online and check out the conference website at www.maac.org. It's updated regularly and provides current information about your favorite MAAC teams and players. Fans, while you're surfing the net, go to MazdaUSA.com to find out all the latest on Mazda cars and trucks.
All right, Doug, with Ricky Bellinger back in the game now, he's got 4 fouls. Expect Niagara to go right at him and try to get him back out of the game. If I'm Joe Mahalik, I really focus on that.
There's another offensive rebound off a missed free throw that Howard was talking about. They addressed in the Niagara huddle. But the Peacocks keep working, and Bellinger's back in the game, playing with his 4 fouls. .20-second timeout called by St. Peter's with 14 seconds on the shot clock. 5:48 left on the game clock.
Now on that segment, Darrell Green was defending Ricky Bellinger, and he's a very solid, steady defender. Bellinger, I got to believe Bellinger can go by Green or post him up. He's got that strong size advantage.
Well, let's take a look at the Citizens Communications long-distance shooter standings. Fairfield freshman Jermaine Clark, the Rookie of the Year in the MAAC, held off Alvin Young. And Clark wins the award for 1999. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC, once again the proud sponsor of the MAAC Long Distance Shooter of the Year. There was #2. He wasn't #2 in too many categories in the league this year, but wound up just behind Clark. There's Young trying for the steal. Kamal McQueen has just hurt his knee again. He missed 3 games earlier in the season and wears that bulky knee brace. And he went down in obvious pain. Although now they're going for the sneaker, so maybe it was the ankle.
And that's somebody Roger Blinn cannot afford to have out of the game at this point. I think he turned his ankle, Doug.
He's also had a bum ankle this year.
Yeah,
so,
what a performance. He's limping. He's in pain. You got to keep it loose.
Going to try and walk it off. Good job by the officials, though, to stop play immediately, because he was obviously down and not getting up too quick.
You know, you think coaching is easy. You know, you get these injuries during the course of a game. Then you see his left ankle get kind of caught up. It rolled as he fell. He really twisted it bad.
Yeah, it could have been kind of the ankle and the knee.
Right.
Both were in an awkward position.
Right. But as a coach, you always have to come up with those adjustments. Someone gets hurt, have to sit for 10 minutes. You got to make sure you pull the right trigger in the way of substitution. Kamal's getting ready to come back in.
10th team foul against Niagara, the first against Bernowski. And Bellinger will go to the line. You see Kamal McQueen sitting in front of the scorer's table. Looks like he'll come in for Bellinger, who's playing with 4 fouls. Now he comes in, and Rich Brown goes out.
He's limping a little bit on that leg. Rich Brown had a great game against Canisius off the bench.
Bellinger and Hunter have combined for 30 points, but Niagara's starting backcourt of Johnson and Young have combined for 39. Johnson with the basketball, picks up the dribble, finds Green. Loves to work that baseline, gets the shot blocked though, and there's Kamal McQueen, defensive rebound. And he lumbers back up court. You see him gingerly on that left leg. 5:10 to go in the second half. 1 point Niagara lead. Hunter runs into a double team, pulls it back out. 15 seconds on the shot clock.
You got to come help him.
Holmes, nice
job.
Inside to McQueen, but the recovery by Johnson knocks it out of bounds. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Jamar Hunter does a nice job when he's double teamed. And a lot of you point guards that are watching Jamar Hunter, if you're double teamed, take a long step back. This way you can see and you give yourself some space against the double team and you can see ahead of you.
Bellinger's inbound, stolen by Young. There should be a fresh shot clock, and there is, but Bellinger jacked it up anyhow. Kamal McQueen with a lefty leg.
Big Mac on the attack.
Not hobbling quite so much.
Wow, a terrific performance.
17 for Kamal McQueen. His season high is 21. That came way back early in the season against Charleston Southern. Peacock's back in front, 60-59. McQueen and Johnson tied up. Foul against McQueen.
That's a tough one. See, that's how you got to stay cool, calm, and collected. McQueen did not like this call either. That's a tough one. He's going after it. I don't think Jeremiah Johnson established position on that play. Tough one.
Right or wrong, though, Kamal McQueen, I'm sure his entire basketball career, when he's 50 or 60 pounds bigger than another guy, when they bump, it's going to look like he fouled him, whether he did or not. Johnson misses the front end of the one-on-one, and St. Peter's gets the ball back on top, 60-59.
They're just so scrappy. This is just a classic St. Peter's ball club. For 20 years, they put some tough New York, New Jersey kids on the floor and just take it right at you.
Jamar Hunter with 20. A three-point lead, the biggest of the game for St. Peter's, 62-59, under 4 minutes to play.
Jack Armstrong and I had a conversation about St. Peter's teams throughout the years. They're just tough, gritty, and make you work.
Pawerka and Green in the backcourt with Young, Vernosky, and Johnson. Shot clock down to 12. Pawerka.
Big three.
That's the second three-point basket of the game. A 20-second timeout called by Niagara. We're tied at 62.
Pawerka's game kind of throws you for a little bit of a loop, because just when you think you're playing strong defense, Pawerka steps back. He doesn't take that many threes, and he has the ability to nail it. He shoots it at a very high percentage.
Big, muscular guy. You figure he's going to be down in the blocks, but he's very comfortable stepping out and stroking it.
And Jake Holmes did a nice job of getting his hand in his face. That's a tough shot by Pawerka.
Former Boston College Eagle who spent 2 years playing in the Big East, spending his final 2 seasons in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Kamal McQueen will be the inbound man. Big number 41 for St. Peter's. .333 to go. In regulation, we're tied at 62. McQueen double team.
St. Peter's is going to have to be careful about the traps out top. And the 4 guys that are moving without the basketball are going to have to step to it.
Holmes doesn't see Hunter on the right wing. He was wide open, calling for the ball. Shot clock down to 3.
Big. Ouch. Come on.
65-62. Mark that one down. Jamar Hunter with the shot clock winding down, hits the 25-footer. Back the other way, he commits the foul before the shot. Johnson will go to the line.
How do you not love Jamar Hunter's game? He just makes plays.
Well, he's a 43% three-point shooter, so it doesn't surprise you he can hit as he picks up the personal.
Smart play by Johnson, though, going right at him. Little bump foul that time by Hunter. Jeremiah Johnson's tough to guard if he's got some space. So quick off the bounce. Might be the quickest guard aside from Jason Rowe in the league off the bounce.
Edwards in. Vernosky goes out. Jeremiah Johnson with a double-double with rebounds and points. 11 points, 10 rebounds. He's pulled it back to a one-point game. Niagara trailing St. Peter's 65-64. Jamar Hunter with a big shot moments ago on the MAAC Television Network. This game is brought to you in part by Marine Midland Bank for all your financial needs. The Pepsi-Cola Company. GMAC, the GM College Grad Program, and your local Pontiac dealers. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. Bob Stores, great buys on brands you wear. The New York Lottery Games, hey, you never know. Chase Manhattan Bank, the right relationship is everything. Mazda, get in, be moved. And by Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. Alvin Young and the Niagara Purple Eagles trailing by a point despite having led most of the ball game. The top seeds from just up the road trying to hold on and squeak their way into the MAAC tournament finals. Here in the second half, Glenn, the rebounding is evened out considerably. St. Peter's has shot a much better percentage at 64%. And they've been forcing turnovers. Niagara has not taken care of the ball as well as they did in the first.
Got to get rid of the basketball. He's right in that trap spot. Niagara came out with a 2-2-1 full court press, and I think St. Peter's got a break there. Spencer just held it way too long. You can't just wait for traps to come.
St. Peter's working on a 15-9 run. Make it 17-9. Ricky Bellinger buries the jumper. He has 14.
Every team has some big shot players. St. Peter's has Bellinger and Hunter. And, of course, Niagara has Jeremiah Johnson and the MAAC Player of the Year and Alvin Young.
For work in Edwards with Johnson, Young, and Green. This is Alvin Young. Under 2 minutes to play. Shot clock at 15. Clear out front for Young.
Good defense. Good defense by Spencer.
St. Peter's with a 3-point lead and the basketball. Hunter, who has had 10 points in that run, the current 17-6 run, 17-9 run, now calls a timeout.
That's nice. Hunter didn't like what he saw. He pulled it back out, called a timeout. He just brings so much composure and basketball intelligence to the squad of St. Peter's. You always need a guy like that, Doug, just to settle things down and make the right decisions.
1:25 to go in the second. The winner of this one will get the winner of the upcoming semifinal between Siena and Marist here at the Marine Midland Arena in Buffalo.
Niagara has gotten very little transition baskets in the second half off of their defense, and I think that's been the difference in this game. Niagara is a team that doesn't typically like to set up a half-court offense, but they've gotten very little in transition. There you see Bellinger come off the screen out top and shot it right in Pawerka's mug.
Bellinger to inbound. Finds Jake Holmes. Shot clock is at 10. Holmes, nice bounce pass to McQueen. Count the basket and a blocking foul against Edwards.
A terrific pass by the big fella. Putting it on the floor, drawing the defense. Absolutely amazing. Holmes took the ball. He's 7 feet, 270 with his left hand. Took it to the basket. Drew the defense. And McQueen has been big. Watch this play by the big guy. That might have been a double dribble, but I think Pawerka slapped it down, and McQueen, using that strong body of his, able to finish.
And the fifth foul against Edwards. He is out. And 270-pounder to 270-pounder on a nice little look-away bounce pass. Little touch pass underneath. That's all right.
The big guy's got some skills.
That's like the third time we've seen Holmes to help out the pressure, and he looks good doing it.
The thing that's been impressive to me about AC Terry Edwards, not happy on the bench, but Jake Holmes, I think, has been the difference in the second half. Defensively, his offensive presence. You saw Jamar Hunter get stuck with the ball on the sidelines. He stepped to it, became the relief man. He's doing all the right things.
That's 20 points and 8 rebounds for Kamal McQueen. And you talk about Holmes. Howard, listening in on one of the earlier huddles here in the second half, said that he was the vocal leader as well, saying, let's go, let's pick it up. Bernoski, no good on the three. It's a 6-point lead. And it's Niagara basketball. Big call for the Purple Eagles. 65 seconds left. Roger Blinn has lost his jacket. It's that kind of game. Niagara led by 12 at halftime, but the second half has belonged to St. Peter's. Young fouled by McQueen. And so Alvin Young will go to the free throw line where he shoots 78%.
And what this does right here, it stops the clock, number one, and Roger Blinn has to be concerned about it too, because number two, what it does, it allows Niagara to set up it with their full court pressure. Expect full court pressure, 2-2-1, falling back into a man from Niagara.
Young missed the front end, no bonus.
That's if he makes it.
Now St. Peter's can play keep away.
They got a foul. They're going to need to foul.
Johnson finally commits the reach around. And St. Peter's is sensing the upset.
Bernofsky, I thought, should have fouled a lot sooner. About 6-7 seconds ticked off the clock. I think he was trying to get the foul. Bellinger just juked him out of the way and got by him. And these are big. Still plenty of time, Doug. Still plenty of time left. Niagara has too many weapons.
Those are the fans who came up on a bus leaving at midnight night before last from Jersey City to be at the tournament and root for the Peacocks. I heard a little bit of singing of na na na, hey hey hey, goodbye.
Too early.
A little premature.
Niagara has too many weapons. Alvin Young, Jeremiah Johnson, and he can bring it up quick.
64. Niagara has really hit an offensive wall. Here's Bernofsky. They trail by 8. Johnson.
Great D by Hunter.
Spencer. Fouled by Bernofsky, who came up over the back. 5 on Bernofsky. He's gone. Second disqualified Purple Eagle. He'll join Edwards on the bench.
Watch the defense by Hunter on Johnson. He doesn't go for the fake. He's got his hand up in his face, bothering the shooter. A terrific rebound that time by Spencer underneath. Bernofsky over the top. But, Doug, there's still time.
Absolutely. Especially when you've got guys like Alvin Young and Jeremiah Johnson.
And now Strobel's in the game, and he could stroke it.
They sound good, but again, I think they might be just a little bit early. See the long faces. Niagara had everything working in the first half. They led by 12 at the intermission, but it's been a completely different second half. Spencer misses the first. He's only a 50% foul shooter, and he is 2 for 3 so far here today. That's a 9-point lead. Johnson to the hole. The layup with 30.3 seconds to go and a quick timeout.
And that's a good no foul by Hunter. Hunter doing a nice job on Johnson. Johnson got the step, but didn't foul him.
We'll take a break with time on the floor. Niagara trailing St. Peter's 73-66. You're watching the MAAC. Now we'll stay here. It's just a 20-second timeout. Joe Mihalik called just a 20 to talk things over quickly and set up the full court pressure.
You know, Doug, when you think about St. Peter's team, they lost their first 5 games. But after that, St. Peter's had a pretty strong record, and this is a team that really has improved as the season has progressed in the MAAC conference. And guys like Bellinger and Hunter really have turned it on. But I think it's been the bench play that has given Roger Blinn some versatility. Guys like Rich Brown and Rodney Rogers, even though they haven't played a lot of minutes this game, have really come to play. Damian Spencer.
Johnson fouls Hunter, 73% shooter and a great clutch player. Joe Mihalik will send Peter Strobel and Mike Pawerka back in.
But the thing that Roger Blinn has really developed with this team is he's established roles on this team. Role players. Who's coming off the bench? What your roles are going to be. There's Nate Bernofsky. You talk about a role player coming off the bench. A very versatile role player for Joe Mihalik.
Hunter now with 24 points. Alvin Young has kind of been silenced the last few minutes. He got up to 30 points. And the defense of St. Peter's has really done a good job in clutch time.
Spencer has done a nice job on Alvin Young, but Doug, you know, I think it's the transition points that were lacking from Niagara's game. St. Peter's really made it a half-court game in the second half, and they did it with defense.
Hunter gets them both. He's got 25. 75-66, under 30 seconds. Luke Dobrich. Johnson fouled by Holmes. Jeremiah will go to the line to shoot two.
Jake Holmes just kind of caught himself in a bad spot. Really fouled him with the body on that play. Keep your eye on Jake Holmes off the rebound. The rebound goes long, and it pops out to Johnson, and he really fouls him with the body. He kind of drew it. Nice job by Jeremiah. There's still plenty of time left, Doug. A turnover, quick turnover. Niagara does have some good three-point shooters with Johnson, Dobrich, and Young in the game. Dangerous threes.
Johnson hits them both. He's got 15. Holmes goes out. Khalif Allen back in. No foul was committed, and here comes Hunter. And he'll dribble out rather than take the layup. 13 seconds, and finally he's fouled by Dobrich. Great move by Hunter. He just chewed up another 3 or 4 seconds.
Smart play by Hunter. The other thing that was a factor on that play by Hunter, we have seen this all tournament, Doug, is that Hunter has a problem going off that leg to the basket. And one of the things he knew is that he might not have been able to finish, and if that's the case, it would have been numbers going the other way, so he dribbled it back out.
Knowing the foul was coming, and he'd get 2 easy ones.
Right. We have seen Hunter in the transition game struggle going off that left knee, so he pulled it back out, kicking off some seconds on the shot clock.
Over the last 10 minutes, Hunter has scored 13 of his 26 points.
Well, Doug, we saw Marist last night upset Iona, and clearly the #1 seed is not an easy position to maintain in the tournament in St. Peter's. A lot of credit to Roger Blynn's club in the second half, just completely turning the complexion of the game around.
Alvin Young with time winding away. He's got 32 points.
Still time, Doug. 5 seconds, down 6.
It's a 2-possession game, and we've got a timeout on the floor. We'll step away and come back for the final 5.5 seconds on the MAAC Television Network. Back in Buffalo, our first MAAC semifinal, and St. Peter's has the lead by 6 late. Niagara led most of the game, led by 12 at halftime. St. Peter's fought back to take the lead 56-55 with about 7 minutes to go, and they still hold on to that lead. Kamal McQueen, the long pass to Ricky Bellinger, and this should do it. He missed the layup, but Spencer follows up.
That will do it.
78-70, and can you say Cinderella? The St. Peter's Peacocks have come to Western New York and knocked off in upset fashion Canisius and Niagara. The #1 seed is gone from the tournament.
A tremendous upset. And they did it with defense, Doug. I really think that Niagara's inability to get the game into that up-tempo style of play, get some easy baskets, we talked about it in the open, was the difference. Terrific job defensively by St. Peter's in the second half. It seemed like a replica of last night's game against Canisius in the second half. Something happens to St. Peter's. They go from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde, and they really get into you on defense.
Alvin Young, Roger Blinn, hugs all around with his wife.
That's Mrs. Blinn.
And here is our Pepsi slam of the game of the Ricky Bellinger miss with 1 second to go. The Peacocks with Damian Spencer finishing off an impressive come-from-behind victory. Roger Blynn's Peacocks are into the MAAC Finals. They'll play tomorrow night against the winner of our upcoming game between Marist and Siena. Stay with us. Much more to come on the MAAC Television Network.